Hello, students. Welcome back to your economics class. We are studying sectors of the Indian economy, and you all have seen the three sectors. We saw comparison, we saw the shift. Now, today we are going to look at other ways in which we can differentiate the economic activities. Okay, we are going to see another way in which we can examine or we can examine the classifying activities in economy. Okay, we are going to look at the way people are employed. What are the conditions of their work? Are there any rules and regulations that are followed in their employment, etc.? So I'm going to give you lots of examples for this. And I want to see if you all can see the difference inside it. Okay, so let's start. Basically, the sectors of economy in terms of the working condition of the employer, of the employee, is called either an organized sector or an unorganized sector. Organized means everything is in order, everything is correctly put, categorized. Uh, you know, there are some rules and regulations in place. And unorganized means there are no rules and regulations. It's very unorganized. Okay. The divisions of sectors as organized and unorganized. For doing this, we need to examine another way of classifying activities in economy. We will look at the way people are employed. What are their conditions of work? Are there any rules and regulations that are followed in terms of their employment? So this is Parul. She works in an office. She attends her office from 9:30 in the morning to 5:30. She gets her salary regularly at the end of every month. In addition to salary, she also gets a provident fund as the rules are laid down by the government. So it is being followed. She also gets medical and other allowances, and she does not go to office on Sundays. That is a paid holiday every week. When she joined work, she was given an appointment letter which stated all the terms and conditions of her work. So you can clearly see there are rules and regulations in place. You can see her timing is decided. She gets one day a week off. So she's clearly belonging to the organized sector. Now let's look at this one. She is Sheetal. She's Parul's neighbor only. But she is a daily wage laborer and she works in a nearby grocery store. Now she goes to work at 7:30 in the morning and she works till 8 p.m. in the evening. And sometimes she can also be a little late. She gets no other allowances apart from her wages. So she only gets her salary. She's not even paid for the days that she does not work. So if she doesn't go on a Sunday, she's not paid for it. Therefore, she has no leave or no paid holidays. Nor was she given any formal letter saying that she has been employed in the shop and she can be asked to leave her job anytime by her employer because there is no letter stating that she's been kept on job. So these kind of conditions lead to these kind of conditions are in the unorganized sector. We saw this. The divisions of sectors on the basis of working conditions of the employment is called organized and unorganized. In organized sector, it carries out all the activities through a system and they follow the government regulation. Okay. And over here in the unorganized sector, that sector evades most of the laws and it is outside the government control. That means it's not following any government control. Now there are these two examples of Kanta and Kamal, which is from your textbook. Over here, Kanta works in an office. She attends her office to 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. It's the same example that I have given you all, but the names are different. It is Kanta and Kamal. So do you see any difference in the working conditions of work between Kanta and Kamal, what difference can you notice? Kanta works in the organized sector. An organized sector covers those enterprises or places of work where terms of employment are regular and so people have assured work. That means nobody can remove them. These places are registered by the government and they have to follow the rules and regulations which are given in various laws. Okay, so they have to follow the Factory Act, Minimum Wage Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, shops and establishments, etc. And this sector is called organized because it has some formal processes and procedures. Some of these people may not be employed by anyone but may work on their own. Okay, so self-employed people, they are not employed by someone, they work on their own, but they have to register themselves with the government and they also follow the rules and regulations. Okay, but if you look at Kamal, he belongs to the unorganized sector. Now, workers in the unorganized sector, they enjoy, sorry, we are still talking about Kanta. Workers in the organized sector, they enjoy job security. That means they rest assured that the employer cannot remove them from the job anytime. They are expected to work for only a fixed number of hours every day, and if they work more, they have to be paid overtime by the employer. They also get many other benefits from the employers. They get medical and other allowances, they get paid leaves, they get paid holidays, okay, they get provident fund, etc. Okay, they also get medical benefits. So if you look at other examples, there are laws that say that the factory manager also has to ensure facilities like drinking water, safe working environment. And when these people retire, they also get good pensions. But if you look at the unorganized sector, you look at Kamal. Okay, in contrast to the organized sector, the unorganized sector is characterized by small and scattered units which are largely outside the control of the government. There are rules and regulations, but they are not followed. The rules and regulations are there, they are laid down by the government, but organized sector follows it, unorganized sector does not follow it. Jobs here are low paid and they are not regular. There is no provision for any overtime, paid leaves, holidays, sick leaves, etc. Over here, the employment is also not secure. People can be asked to leave anytime without even giving any reason. If you look at your own servants, they are in the unorganized sector. Do you give them a letter of appointment when you keep them? No. When you want to remove them, are you answerable to give them a reason? No. So, when there is less work, such as during some seasons, some people are asked to leave. Like right now, in some places, when you can't afford a servant, or you can easily ask them to leave. A lot has to depend on the whims of the employer. It all depends on the employer. This sector includes a large number of people who are employed on their own doing small jobs such as repair work, electricians, etc. Similarly, farmers work on their own and they hire laborers as and when they require. So there is one activity on page 31 of your textbook. I want you all to do it in the textbook. You have to. There are question one is there are a list of activities which you have to segregate as organized or unorganized sectors. Then the second one says talk to someone who has a regular job in an organized sector and another one who has an unorganized sector. Compare and contrast their working conditions in all aspects. Third, how do you distinguish between organized sector, unorganized sector in your own words? You can do the marking in your textbook for this, no need to write. And the table below shows the estimated number of workers in India in the organized and unorganized sectors. Read the table, fill the missing data, and answer the questions that follow. So out of all these, you're going to do question number 1 and 4 in your textbook. Don't do question number 2 and 3 right now. Okay? Okay. Now, when you look at these two sectors, do you all feel a difference between them? You look how comfortable Kanta is, and do you anywhere feel that Kamal is, if there is injustice done to him, or uh, we should protect these unorganized sector workers somewhere? We don't you feel liable about it? Okay, this is a difference between organized sector and unorganized sector that is there. Question number 3 on page 31. You can just write this down in your notebooks. You can copy this one table in your notebook. And also with it, if you all can do some diagrams around it that show organized sector and unorganized sector. Okay. This is another one. Organized sector, unorganized sector. Employment terms are fixed and employees have assured work. Unorganized sector, it comprises of small enterprises or units and they are not registered with the government. Organized sector is governed by various acts. Unorganized sector is not governed by any act. Organized sector gets regular monthly salary and unorganized sector get daily wages. Organized sector has formal processes and procedures. Unorganized sector has no formal procedure. Organized sector employees receive paid leaves. Unorganized sector, there is no provision for overtime, paid leaves, or sick leave. But you all are going to do this in your notebooks because this explains it very, very well. So, how do you protect the workers who are in the unorganized sector? Because we already know that people who are in the unorganized sector, they are exploited and they are not paid a fair wage. Their jobs aren't secure and they have no other benefits. There is a need for protection and support of the workers in the unorganized sector. Who are these vulnerable people who need protection? In the rural areas, unorganized sector mainly comprises of landless laborers. They have no land. They have small or even the small and marginal laborers, sharecroppers, and artisans. These are the people in the rural area who need to be protected from being exploited. They need to be supported through adequate facilities for timely delivery of seeds, agricultural inputs, credit and storage facilities. They need all this. They need government needs to put something in place for them. And in the urban areas, unorganized sector mainly comprises of workers in small scale industries, casual workers in the construction sites, street vendors, head load workers. These small scale industry, they need government support for procuring the raw materials and marketing for output. The casual workers in both rural and urban areas, they need to be protected. But how? By getting irregular and low paid workers, these workers, they are also facing social discrimination. Majority of workers from scheduled caste and tribes and backward communities, they often find themselves in the unorganized sector. Protection and support to the unorganized sector workers is necessary for the development of economic and social development. But how do we do this? How do we give them protection? So, in the unorganized sector, if you look at the rural areas, people like cobblers, small marginal farmers, weavers, carpenters, these are all the people in the unorganized sector who need to be protected. So how can we protect them? We can protect them by providing them loans at low rate of interest. We can give them inputs at subsidized rates. Okay, the raw materials can come at subsidized rates. We can also give them lots of storage and transport facilities, and we can also give them market where they can go and sell their goods. Okay, so one is we can give them loan, that is creating capital. Second is input, that is physical capital. Third is giving them storage and transport facility. Again, the working capital, we need it, right? Finally, by providing outlet for the sale of goods, you even give them a market where they can go and sell their goods. So this is the way we can make the workers in the unorganized sector more strong so that they are not exploited. And what about the ones in the urban area? In urban area, we have small scale industry, casual workers, rickshaw pullers, rag pickers. These are the employers in the working sector that need our protection. They need protected. How do we keep them protected? We can give them loans at low interest. We can give them support for marketing of output. And we can also help them in procuring their raw materials. Okay. So these are the two questions whose answer you will mark in your textbook. I repeat, you're going to mark these two answers in your textbook. You're also going to solve question number 1 and 4 on page 31 in your textbook. And you're going to draw that table in your notebooks with two diagrams. I want a diagram next to it which shows organized sector and unorganized sector. So you can draw Kanta and Kamal from your textbook, or whatever whatever comes to your mind about organized sector and unorganized sector. One person is unorganized, one person is unorganized. These are the two questions whose answers you're going to mark in your textbook. In what ways workers in organized sectors are treated differently than the ones in the unorganized sector? And second one, you don't need to really mark it because you're going to write it in your notebooks. Differentiate between organized and unorganized sector. Also mark in your textbook, how can we protect the workers in the urban and the rural areas who work in the unorganized sector. I repeat, also mark in your textbook, how will we be able to protect the workers who work in the unorganized sector in the urban and rural areas. Okay, so with this we end today's class. Stay home, stay safe, take care and keep learning. Thank you.